everybody. Well, today for our drawing I wanted to do a fish drawing. Fishing season just started, so some of you maybe have gotten the chance to go out and catch a few things if you were lucky, but I thought we'd go ahead and do this. It's a pretty simple drawing. Some of you maybe have done something like it before, but it'd be something we'd give a try. So let's go ahead and start here in the middle. I'm going to draw a fish here in the middle, and then we'll add some cool stuff in the background as we go along. So how about right here in the middle, I'm going to draw kind of a round shape. I'm not too worried about how big or what size it is, if it's perfectly circle or an oval. As long as it's just kind of round, that's good enough. Now let's go ahead. I did it kind of lightly, like I've been telling you in these drawings. I like to draw lightly at first, and then as I add details, I'll make them darker. So here we have one eyeball. I'll go ahead and draw his pupil, or her pupil. And then I'm going to do the other eyeball, and it's going to be behind this one, so they're overlapping each other. And not only is it behind this eye, it's actually on the other side of his body. So this is, if you've ever watched Garfield, this is the way that they draw his eyes. I believe the artist's name is Jim Davis. So we have his eyes. Let's go ahead and draw his mouth. Now for the mouth, I'm going to have our fish have his mouth wide open. So I'm going to go ahead and draw a big oval like that. And then I want to make it look more three-dimensional. So I'm going to draw a line right here. And then if I shade in this inside portion, it's going to make it look like his mouth is open and it's like this big open kind of like cave or something like that. Cool, I think it looks pretty good. Now our fish have a lot of different types of fins. So let's go ahead and start with his tail fin. Or no, I'm sorry, not his tail fin, his pectoral fin. That's the fin that's right here on the side. It's kind of like their arms or their wings, however you want to think about it. So I'm going to draw kind of like a letter V or an arrow that's pointing towards the mouth. And then behind it, I'll draw kind of that bumpy line to make it look like it's made out of like that fin material. And you can add some lines to this. So I did that arrow shape, and then I did a bumpy line. Now you see at the front of my arrow, I didn't quite close it off because I don't want it to be a perfect arrow. Sometimes I'll put like a little thing right there that's kind of like where his fin is coming out of how it connects to his body. Let's do some of these other fins. Up here on top, they have their dorsal fin. Kind of like a mohawk. So behind his eyes here, I'm just going to go up, kind of have an angle, and then I can do that same bumpy line going back. So I had that line going up, and then this bumpy line. And then I can draw these other lines on there. Good. On the bottom, they have a fin that's similar to this, but it's a lot smaller. So down here, I'm going to do the same thing. Kind of have a line coming off at an angle, and then put a couple bumps on it. Cool. And those two fins are kind of what help your fish to sail along straight in the water. That's what they use those for. Now in the back, I need to draw the tail fin. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and kind of draw that arrow shape again, but I don't want it to come to a point. So I'll have a line kind of coming off here and a line coming off here. And you see if I had extended those, I would have made that same arrow shape. And then behind them, you can do those bumps there. And yours doesn't have to look just like that. If you have more bumps or less bumps, you can draw those lines right there. Cool. That looks pretty good. Now I think at this point I can go ahead and kind of maybe darken that oval. Now maybe yours doesn't need that because maybe you pressed harder to begin with, but I'm trying to get my students to draw lightly first. So now I can kind of see my fish looks pretty good there. He looks surprised, so I'm going to go ahead and give him surprised eyebrows. And if I was at school right now, I would say, what is he missing? And I know somebody would be out there and they'd give me a good answer. They'd say, he's missing his gills. Gills are how the fishes breathe. There are these slits right here on the side. And what actually happens is the fish breathes in through his mouth water, and it filters out the oxygen so they can breathe the oxygen, and the other gas is hydrogen. Gets filtered out. Now on your fish, if you want to do spots, you could do spots, you could do stripes, you could do all kinds of stuff. I'm going to go ahead and do some spots, and then maybe I'll do some scales too. So I always like to change the size of my spots, so I might start off kind of big right here, and then maybe down here I'll do like another cluster of small spots. Cool. If you wanted to add scales, it's just kind of like doing a bumpy line. Look, bump, 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 and then I'll do another set behind it. Bump, bump, bump. And you can do that as many times as you want. It kind of ends up looking like scales. Can you see that on there? Pretty small scales. Let me do some more down here. Bump, bump, bump. And like I said, if you want to add these scales like this by using these little bumps, you can do that. If you want to do stripes or you want to do those spots, you can change yours up a little bit, and you can take your time. And you can either do that now by pausing the video, or you can do that later. Now in the background, I'm going to go ahead and draw some sand at the bottom. And I think what I'm going to put over here, and what he's so shocked about, is there's going to be a pearl inside of a clam. So I'm going to draw an oval. It's actually a foreshortened circle. If we were looking at it from above, it would be a circle, but since we're kind of looking at it from this angle, it looks foreshortened. So I want to do the bottom half of the shell. So I'm going to just draw a curve from one side to the other. And then it looks like a cereal bowl, but I'm not going to put cereal in it. And then I'm going to do another one, same thing I just did, but I'm going to have it on its side, an oval. And then I can draw that cereal bowl. Now mine went off the paper, and that's okay. Now I want to draw the pearl, so I'm going to draw like a nice round pearl here, and then we can have it like sitting on the tongue of our oyster. That looks pretty good. Now we could add all kinds of stuff like this. Right now our video is getting a little bit long. Maybe I'll add some bubbles. Over here I could maybe add some seaweed. Like I just do a curvy line up to a point, and then I curve my way back down. Do it again. Curvy line to a point, and then curvy line back down. You can do a couple of those. Cool. And we could add other fish. We could add all kinds of stuff. Sometimes I'll add a little crab. They're super easy and cute. Draw an oval with a smile in it. That's his face. And they got their two eyeballs up here. Cool. And I'm going to draw his little legs. He's got 6. I'm actually not sure if that's right. I know that's how bugs are. I think actually they have one more. They have 4 on each side. I'm thinking about when I go to eat crab legs. And then on each side, look, I'm going to draw his hand, or his arm, and then I'm going to draw kind of like a U with a V inside, and those are going to become his claws or his pinchers. So a U and a V inside. Now that's pretty good. We just got a couple things in here, but I think we got enough where we could go ahead and color this, or we can add some more details or more fish in the background. It's kind of up to you. But I hope you enjoyed this picture. I hope if you got to go fishing that you caught one, and I hope you're all doing well. All right, enjoy everyone.